This is Shane Harper from Good Luck Charlie and God's Not Dead, and you're watching Dispatch Radio.
Welcome back to Dispatch Radio, brought to you by theglobaldispatch.com. And this summer, another chapter of Fast and the Furious. Furious 7 is going to be coming to theaters sooner than we think. Actually, the clock's just turning. I can't believe it's already April, just a week or so away. And we have one of the actresses on with us. We're going to talk about that film, talk about many of her other projects and what's in the works for her. Her name is Susan Santiago. Susan, how are you? Doing okay?
Yes, thank you so much, Brandon, for having me.
All right, well, let's jump right to it. You play Nurse Santos in Furious 7, and what an amazing cast. Obviously, Vin Diesel and The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, and the late Paul Walker was part of it, and many, many others. So I don't know what you can and can't say. Who do you get to have a scene with? Let's go there.
Well, I actually get to enjoy the screen with Michelle Rodriguez mostly, and the young lady named Gal Gadot.
And for those who don't know, she's Wonder Woman coming up in the new Batman vs Superman movie.
Yes, she is.
Yeah. So you're on screen with Michelle and Gal. So tell everybody a little bit about that working experience and what that was like.
Well, I got to tell you, coming into this film was just such a wonderful treat, first of all. But secondly, you know, they're very much like the film. They're a small family. And I was just very lucky to get to be a part of it for a short period. But it was great. The director was wonderful as well, and everything seemed seamless and relaxed and playful, and it's Furious 7, what can we say?
When you get to be a part of something like this, you kind of, you get like a little bit of a cheer in your head, not only to have an opportunity to play in that kind of blockbuster film, but also because you're also a fan of the franchise, or did you actually have to go out and learn a little bit about the franchise, or how was that for you?
No, I'm a total fan of the franchise. I've seen every single film that they put out, and I understand that there's 2 more that's coming, actually. But I'm a complete fan, and so when I heard about it, I was ecstatic. I had no idea how the role was going to develop or what to expect once I got there, but it definitely fulfilled all of my expectations and then some.
I know you come from a ton of background in TV work, but you've also done a lot of other films. Is the approach different on something like a big blockbuster film like this? Do they film fast? Do they film more intricately? Is it a lot more hands-off? What was your impression?
Well, as an actor, the approach is the same. You just prepare for your work and you understand your character and you go and show up and be present. But definitely in terms of the work itself, film is very different than television. You have a little bit more time to play with in film than you do in TV, since you have to do an episode in basically a week. And so you get more chances to really express yourself and develop your character as you're working.
It's amazing. It's Furious 7. It's hard to believe it's the 7th film in the franchise. Obviously, the big names are back. Vin Diesel and Dwayne Johnson, The Rock. Paul Walker, of course, is his last film. Of course, you mentioned being on film with Michelle Rodriguez and Gal Gadot, and just a great cast, and you don't want to miss that. We'll link to some of the release dates, maybe the last trailer, so you can make sure you put that on your calendar and you don't miss Susan in her role there as Nurse Santos. And she has another film coming out called A Fortune in Gold. It's a treasure hunting film, and give us a little heads up on what's going on with that. I don't know much about that one, so I'm going to rely totally on you.
Well, that one actually was wonderful because we got to go to Utah to shoot a chunk of it, and it's sort of a modern-day treasure hunting experience, but it's also a millennial film, all about asking what's more important in life, pursuing money and society expectations, or is there something beyond that we should be more concerned about? But like I said, Utah was amazing. I had no idea there was so much beautiful country out there. And since I actually play a character that is very much in touch with Mother Earth and, sowing its plants and vegetables and things like that, it was wonderful experience to dive into as well.
It's kind of a stark contrast. I mean, you're a native of Madrid in Spain, and then, of course, your father moves everybody to Kansas. Next thing you know, you're shooting films in Utah, and then you're on set with Furious 7, and you live in San Francisco for a while. You've got kind of the frequent flyer miles going on. A lot of. What does the family say about some of this?
Indeed, I do. Well, my family is very world traveled anyway, so they just. At first, they thought I was a little insane, But then when they started to see me work and really do some legitimate things, because at first you have to put in your time. They're like, "Are you insane, woman?" And I'm like, "I love what I do. I'm just going to keep on doing it until something else occurs to me." And they've been supportive, and they're very ecstatic for me, and they're always wanting to see more of me on TV. Although they don't like to see me when I get hurt. That's their only complaint.
Well, you've done the rounds, and I know that obviously some people know you from your film debut back in Daddy Daycare. Eddie Murphy was in that, and you got to play Sean's mom. And, you know, when you're in your first film, what is that part that's in your belly? What's in your thought of that first shoot?
Well, besides bawling my eyes out of ecstatic joy before I got on set, the next moment was pinching myself on set, because truly working with Eddie Murphy and Angelica Houston and Steve Zahn and Jeff Garland, these people are so hilarious that in between takes we were just laughing up a storm. And I literally at one moment think, I cannot believe they're actually paying me to play like this. I mean, somebody is going to figure it out any second and tell us we're not getting paid.
That's fantastic. Susan's just looking over her shoulder every few minutes going, I'm really doing this.
Yeah.
That's fantastic. And I guess, you know, you get to show those photos to Mom and say, look, Mom, I got a real job. I'm with Eddie Murphy of all people. Look.
Right. Well, my dad was a fan of Eddie Murphy, you know, since passed away, but he was just in love with him as well. So it was kind of a nice treat to bring that to the table as well to them.
Well, you have a whole litany of amazing opportunities for, you know, different one-offs on different TV shows, you know, Bones and Criminal Minds and that kind of thing. But I thought it was interesting to note here how much you really have claimed how much you enjoy working with Mark Harmon. That NCIS was kind of a special treat, and there was just something really unique about working with him. Share that with our audience if you could.
Gosh, it's really difficult to say enough about Mark Harmon, because the man is just one of the most generous, most loving, most giving people I have ever met. And many of the crew on that film, on that series, actually say they should have retired long ago, and they will not retire as long as he's working. He genuinely takes care of everyone on set. And he's like, I'm just going to keep on going. These people depend on me. These crew people depend on me to have a job. And as long as I'm healthy and viable, I'm going to keep on doing it. And, you know, as an actor, he's also very generous. He's very present with you. And I remember I took my dad, my stepfather, actually, to do some sound work, some ADR, which is basically we have to go back and fix some of the lines in a sound room. And I brought him with me, and he was in the waiting room. And Mark Harmon came out, hugged him, said hello, showed him craft services. Come here, get comfortable, join us. And, you know, you don't find that often in the industry. And when it is, it's present, you just think, oh, my goodness, this person is not only a fabulous, talented actor, but he's also just a down-to-earth, warm, generous person, you know.
It's a great story. Thank you so much for sharing that. And folks, we're talking with Susan Santiago. She's going to be in Furious 7, and we're kind of replaying through her resume some of the amazing stories and experiences she's had over the years, and great list of TV shows that she's been on, from, you know, the CSI franchise to Charmed and JAG and a ton of stuff. And one of the things that I had to circle here, Susan, and I couldn't let you off the hook, and they haven't noted that you have this nickname that I wasn't quite certain I should even use because I don't know the backstory. So I thought it would be better to get the backstory before I call you that. So first tell everybody what the nickname is, and then you can explain it so I can feel at least a little more comfortable.
Well, that nickname would be Sumo, as in sumo wrestler.
I feel very uncomfortable right now calling another woman Sumo. I don't know that I could do. I don't think I could call any woman Sumo. Even if they were a female sumo wrestler, I'm not sure I could call her Sumo.
My high school friends came up with that nickname. I was much of a tomboy when I was in high school, and I did, you know, wrestle a little bit here and there, but mostly. Yes, the name itself explains enough, but my family, my sisters call me Sumo still, so, you know, it took on in my family and everything, so there you go.
I'm in good company if I call you Sumo, so I guess I can't be in harm's way. with that. So that's great.
I will welcome it. I do have another nickname from other people that's actually similar. Interestingly, these are the kinds of names I attract. My best friend calls me Sasquatch.
Wow. Again, I'm not sure I feel comfortable with that either. And I may like your friend and want to be in their company, but Sasquatch is pretty brutal. I mean, they're still your friend. I guess we're okay. So, Susan, as you look back and, you've kind of pressed through this big round of, one-off television opportunities. Now you've got a couple of big films, and obviously something like Furious 7 is huge. What piece of advice did you get, or you still kind of hang your hat on to kind of help motivate you and help you get through? Because it's a rough business and it's hard. And, there's got to be that word of advice that helps you persevere.
Indeed, it is a difficult business, and something that I learned right away early on was you have to enjoy the journey. If you don't enjoy the journey with everything that it includes with it, which means tons of rejection, if you don't enjoy that, then you just get out. Find something that makes your heart sing. But if you're going to lock into this industry, then you need to just relax and find a way to enjoy the process as it is and not internalize it and make it something about you. Because there are a million reasons why people say no, and many of them have nothing to do with you. However, as an actor, you tend to internalize things and say, okay, if I had done this better, if I had made that choice, I didn't do it right, that's why I didn't get picked. And I learned early on to just say, you know what, I give my work, I leave it out there, and the universe will reward me with whatever is meant to be mine.
Wow, what a great way to end our talk. That's fantastic. Susan Santiago, Furious 7, folks. We'll link to that when we put the trailer up. Make sure you've got all the information there, and we'll link to some of her other social media stuff so you can connect with her as well, find out more about her different works and projects that are coming up, and maybe track down some of these lost episodes, especially that NCIS with that special Mark Harmon that's really touched her life and really has an amazing testament to his career and his legacy. So we appreciate your time with us, Susan. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Brandon. You guys have a great day.